That's why I wanted to talk to you today, because otherwise I wouldn't be talking about this. But I want to assure people that the system does work.
That is Woodbury County Auditor Pat Gill revealing that he is the one who went to law enforcement about the suspicious absentee ballots that led to the arrest of the wife of Woodbury County Supervisor Jeremy Taylor yesterday. Thanks for joining us. I'm Katie Koppel in for Larry Wentz tonight. And this evening, the latest on this investigation is first at 5. Here's what we knew going into the news conference this morning. 49-year-old Kim Taylor made her initial appearance in federal court Thursday on 52 voter fraud-related charges, including 23 counts of fraudulent voting. She's been released on a personal recognizance bond. The court documents themselves claim that Taylor launched her scheme in April of 2020 to create more votes for her husband, Jeremy Taylor, in his failed bid for the Republican nomination for the 4th District congressional seat in the June 2020 primary, and for his successful bid for the Woodbury County Board of Supervisors in the November 2020 general election. This morning, I attended that news conference at the county courthouse where Woodbury County Auditor Pat Gill gave us more details about the case and the role his office played in this investigation.
It's very important here that I stick to the facts.
Woodbury County Auditor Pat Gill held a news conference Friday morning to discuss what he says is the biggest case of voter fraud he's seen in his 27 years. Gill was first alerted about an issue during the primary election in 2020 when precinct officials noticed irregularities in absentee ballots.
So I was called down during the primary, and two precinct election officials called me over and said, take a look at these ballots. And there were write-in ballots. These were ballots that were cast in the Republican primary. What they had was a stack of ballots there that were written in, and this is the first time I've ever seen this, when all you could tell by looking at them that they were all filled out by the same person.
During the 2020 primary election, Jeremy Taylor was running for the Republican nomination for Iowa's 4th Congressional District against incumbent Steve King and eventual winner and current Representative Randy Feenstra.
Jeremy Taylor was on that ballot for the congressional seat, but written in were 150 primary write-in votes for District 3, which was open at that time, and then there were 135 write-ins for Jeremy Taylor for auditor.
Two poll workers, a Democrat and a Republican, working with the absentee ballots, noticed the similarities in the write-in votes the day of the primary election.
My staff was telling me for a long period of time that during the primary election and the general election of 2020, that there was a lot of signatures that were coming in on those affidavit envelopes that looked like they were signed by the same person. That is a fact. That's what occurred.
Because Iowa is not a signature verification state, there was nothing the county could do until a voter raised a concern about their ballot. That concern came from a student at Iowa State University.
Our office received a call, our staff took the call, and a person said that they had requested an absentee ballot, and they went to the Secretary of State's website where we all enter that information. And when they looked at the Secretary of State's website, they said, this person told me, they said, you have a ballot that says that you have a ballot from me, and I didn't vote that ballot.
Further investigation revealed that it wasn't just that student, but their sibling as well, and their names and ballots were cast in the 2020 primary, 2020 general election, and a special Board of Supervisors election held that year also, none of which the two siblings had voted in themselves. Gill informed Iowa Secretary of State Paul Pate's office and the county attorney's office about the irregularities, who escalated it to the FBI.
When I was visiting with the FBI, they told me that they would like to see those, and I asked them about if they were interested in seeing the other affidavit envelopes that had the same signature, and they said yes.
Gill says his office had received complaints about Mrs. Taylor in 2020.
One fact that I can say is that when I would leave sometimes in the evening, I would see Kim Taylor putting ballots in the box, and Supervisor Taylor was in the vehicle when that was taking place. That's a fact, I can tell you.
Was this also the year that there was that stipulation around where Jeremy Taylor lived and what seat he could hold on the board? Wasn't this that same year in about 2020?
Yes, 2020. It was in January of 2020 when I think that was first filed, the voter registration challenge. It was during that period of time that took place.
Election officials have also looked back at the 2014 and 2018 elections. Ballots where Jeremy Taylor was also listed, but they did not find any irregularities. So did this affect federal races too, or was this just a local issue with the local votes? Because this was also a federal election.
Right. Yeah. Anyone, obviously if somebody's filling out those ballots, they're filling out all those contests that are.
Now, we've reached out to Jeremy Taylor and his wife Kim Taylor for comment on the charges, but have not gotten a response. Iowa Secretary of State Paul Pate telling Siouxland News this afternoon, quote, "Election integrity and security is paramount in what we do on a day-to-day basis. At this time, our office cannot comment on an ongoing investigation."